Good morning. I'm Angelo Castro III.
I'm Angela, and we are the Castros.
We bring you the news.
And the views that make you think.
Sometimes we agree.
Sometimes we don't.
This is News and Views.
And here are today's headlines.
Senate President Cheese Escudero has laid down a proposal for the impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte. The key date is on July 30, which he suggests to be the start of the trial.
A Chinese-Filipino civic leader highlighted the possibility that many kidnapping cases in the country could be related to POGOs. This comes after the Presidential Anti-Organized Crime Commission flagged the kidnapping of a student in Taguig as a major concern.
And later on the program, let's talk about current issues with senatorial candidate Gringo Honasan.
And Transportation Secretary Vince Dizon challenges the LTO to issue plates for newly registered vehicles within 3 working days. But is this really possible?
Palace Press Officer Under Secretary Attorney Castro lashed out at Vice President Sara Duterte, emphasizing that remarks of anger or hatred toward the government should not come from the country's second highest official. Here's the report.
Palace Press Officer Undersecretary Castro criticized Vice President Sara Duterte for her statement that it is the right of the people to show their anger toward the government. Duterte made this remark during an indignation rally in Cebu. Castro emphasized that such comments should not come from the second highest official in the country.
Nakakalungkot po na mula sa pangalawang pinakamataas na leader ng bansa ay mukha pang nag-i-encourage siya sa mga tao na magalit sa gobyerno. Nung nalaman po ito ng Pangulo ay wala po siyang naging reaksyon dito.
She also questioned why Duterte did not make similar remarks during her father's administration, highlighting that former President Duterte was once labeled the most corrupt.
Pero bakit naman ngayon lang? Mas marami naman din pong nangyari nung panahon ng kanyang ama. So parang ang pag-encourage po ba niya na magalit ang tao, meron po ba itong link doon sa sinasabing destabilization? At pinapatungkulan palagi na ang taong bayan ay dapat nang kumilos laban sa gobyerno.
Meanwhile, Castro defended President Bongbong Marcos for a strong statement since the campaign period. She clarified that the president was simply expressing his thoughts to show that he is not a weak leader.
Karapatan din po ng Pangulo na magsalita kung ano po yung kanyang damdamin. Ito naman din po ay para mapakita sa tao kung ano ba yung katotohanan. Mahirap po na yung isang party lang ang sumusuntok. Kailangan din po tayong sumangga.
As Malacanang's statements become more assertive, an old video of Castro resurfaced on social media. The video shows the newly appointed Palace Press Officer appearing visibly upset. However, she explained that the footage dates back to 2015, when she was defending a client who had been arrested without a warrant.
If given a chance to do that again, I will.
Why?
Because I did that for justice.
Meanwhile, Senate President Cheese Escudero has issued a proposed timeline for the impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte. The Senate's proposed calendar shows that the start of the impeachment trial proper on July 30. But when session resumes on June 2, the articles of impeachment should be presented. That will be followed by the approval of the revised rules of procedure. Escudero said this calendar will have to be approved by his fellow senators. But for now, an all-member caucus is out of the question as senators are either busy with their re-election campaign or on holiday abroad.
No. It took us this long to be able to do these things again because we are acting on it prudently. We are not rushing, but neither are we delaying. This is not in response to any call or clamor. Ito ang trabaho po namin.
Escudero also instructed Senate offices to prepare for the ouster proceedings.
Para makapaghanda sila at gumawa na rin ng proposed budget kaugnay nun dahil baka may mga unforeseen expenses na kailangan namin paghandaan. Ulitin ko, bahagi ito ng tinatawag nating quote, taking proper order of the subject of impeachment. Hindi pa man nagsisimula ang pre-trial o trial, ay buo na at kompleto na ang paghahanda ng Senado para dito.
Well, yung sa yung sa kay Attorney Claire Castro,
Yeah.
ang dami nagsabi it's about time na nagkaroon na yung pangulo ng taga-sangga at taga-suntok din.
Oo.
It's because it's the longest time ang mga sumasagot for the
relax lang
president. The president rarely answered before, pero ang sumasagot kasi yung executive secretary
Yeah.
or yung mga secretaries of the agencies involved, which takes a lot of time from their order of business kasi madaming trabaho sila.
Yeah, oo.
And if they take time out to keep on answering yung mga rhetoric from the other side, nauubusan ng oras sa trabaho nila. So, just perfect time ito, pero sinasabi nila, why now only? Kasi election ba?
Election.
Oo.
I think yun nga, naiba na yung kasi yung narrative nila from chill to attack. Parang ganun na yung nakikita ko dyan Then, for the past couple of years na since the administration, BBM administration started, talagang parang lagi, di ba, unity tayo, hayaan natin sila, trabaho muna tayo. But this time around, it's totally different. Now, by hiring Attorney Claire Castro, nakita naman natin from the first day na umupo siya dyan,
Yes, so-
rat-rat na siya kaagad Di ba?
Well, that's she's known to be very feisty naman also. So perfect siya sa role. And then si Secretary J. Ruiz naman was a journalist naman. So perfect ang nila, ang tandem nila. Oo.
But going naman to this
Impeachment.
issue yung sa impeachment, yung pagpe-present ni Senate President Chis Escudero ng timetable ng Senado as an impeachment court, a lot of people are saying, bakit biglang naglalabas ka ngayon ng timetable? But still, andun pa rin naman siya, very stern pa rin naman siya doon sa sa sinasabi niya na July 30 pa rin, right after the SONA pa rin, ang uumpisahan yung impeachment trial. Pero yun nga, sinasabi nila, maraming mga legal experts pa rin nag-weigh in kung ano ba yung tamang dapat gawin pagdating dito sa impeachment trial
It
na
will
to.
be interesting to see paano mag-prep ang lower house, yung team of prosecutors, because sila ang nangangalap ng ebidensya. At
Yeah.
alam naman natin, it's very critical na alam mo yung evidence at hand at saka direction mo when you're trying a
Yeah.
case. It's because if you don't know yung hawak mo, those are mountain of evidence yan.
Yes,
Kung di ka
oo.
familiar, it could be a drawback sa case mo. Kaya sinasabi ni Congressman what's her name, Luistro, na sinasabi niya, well, sana mahalal kami
Mahalal pa
lahat
rin
ulit.
sila.
Because
Pero according to them-
continuity naman mawawala if, kunyari, may tatlo or apat na critical prosecutors mawala dyan. Very, crucial.
Logistically, meron na silang in-establish na secretariat ng House of Representative para sa prosecution panel for this impeachment trial. And sinasabi nila, 90 to 95% ready na daw sila when it comes to evidences, documents, testimonies, people who will testify.
Oo. Pero you have to remember kasi yung work nila is divided, compartmentalized sila. They're divided according to anong issue or articles of impeachment o sino taga ng kalap na evidence, sino mag-cross-examine. Pag mawalang isa dyan sa plano nila, masisira
Yes.
lahat yan. That's why it's crucial. After the elections, it's the same. Or are they prepared? What if yung pumalit na congressman sa kanila sa prosecution panel, is on the other side of the fence?
Pero syempre, bago natin pag-usapan yung sa prosecution, mayroon bang matutuloy ba yung impeachment trial? Kasi ang
Hindi.
daming nangyayari ngayon.
Based naman kay Senator Chis Escudero.
Dahil
He's convening already.
Yeah, he's convening
So,
already.
once he's convened, wala na magagawa Supreme Court. The best
Sabi
they can
nila.
the best they can do is the Supreme Court can stop it before they convene.
Oo, kung magti-TRO. Di ba yung sinasabi nga doon ni Senate President Franklin Drilon, kapag
Convene, wala
nag-convene
na
wala nang jurisdiction ng Supreme
Pero
Court.
prior, as a matter of question sa Constitution or the way the process, pwede pang itanong
Pero
yan.
ang problema kasi, di ba, may mga ibang mga nakabinbin na mga parang petition from the camp of Duterte na baka mamaya biglang mag-TRO ang Supreme Court tapos ongoing, let's say hypothetically, ang impeachment trial, hindi papakinggan ng Senado. Ang sinasabi nila dyan, baka mag-constitutional crisis tayo. Yun
But
ang
I don't think
mangyayari.
abot sa ganun
Pero kanina
kung kailangan I don't even think even before mag-TRO. Well, notice to explain, pwede.
Yeah, oo.
Pero yung TRO, well,
Let's see, no? But hopefully, hindi na tayo umabot sa ganun, Pero isa pa sa tinitingnan nila dito, kasi sabi natin, ang hirap kasi walang precedent Pero pagdating daw dun pala sa fourth with na yan, before, doon sa impeachment na nangyari kay former President Joseph Estrada, ang nagkaroon daw ng debate dyan before, si Senator Raul Roco at saka si Senator Miriam Defensor Santiago. Senator Raul Roco was saying na forthwith ka agad without delay. Pero parang ang nanalo daw noon na pagkasunduan ng mga Senado sa mga senador at that time, ito kinatigan nila si Senator Miriam Defensor Santiago that they have to take caution caution, hindi agad-agad, etc. So, yun yung ipinresenta daw ni Senator Jesus Cordero sa fellow senator niya. Pero yung dahilan kahapon, ang dami nagtaas ng kilay, of course, may mga netizen natin, nung isa sa mga nabanggit ni Senator Jesus Cordero, na ano ba yun, sabi niya na walang caucus na mangyayari dahil number one, busy yung mga senador sa pangangampanya dahil 7 doon ay re-electionist. Tapos pangalawa, yung iba daw doon ay busy na dahil nasa abroad, holiday vacation or may mga convention na na a-attenan. So syempre yung mga kababayan natin, teka muna, 'di ba? Ay 'di ba constitutional mandate nyo, bakit para meron pa pala siya sinabi, not interested, yung iba not interested. Oh,
Galing,
that's the word. Bakit?
40 seconds, walang hinga. Dire-diretso, di ko. Hindi, pwede na.
Oo, yeah, go ahead. Oo.
May point ka doon. Pero ang reminder lang sa public, bakit also the Supreme Court will not they have to make a move before mag-convene officially. Kasi pag nang-convene na to into a trial, impeachment trial court, you have to remember, presiding officer mo dyan is the Senate President and the Supreme Court Chief Justice. So it's highly unlikely the Supreme Court will issue a TRO on a convened impeachment court with the Supreme Court Chief Justice sitting as a presiding officer. Ano magiging proceeding yung Chief Justice mo at yung Senate President naka-convene na into sa impeachment trial court pero magti-TRO ka sa process, hindi na. So if they have to do it, it has to be done before mag-convene.
Ay, isa pa tinitingnan nilang legalities dito kasi kung 20th Congress mag-convene sila as an impeachment court, 'di ba? Para baka daw ma-question 'yun because 19 Congress ipinasa yung
pero hindi naman junk tang
impeachment complaint.
Hindi naman junk tang impeachment.
Tingnan natin hindi naman tayo abogado, tayo ay nanonood lamang at syempre nag-gather ng evidence.
Basta alam ko pag nagsimula to, just like yung kay Corona at kay Erap, maglalabas ako ng popcorn. Panoorin ko yan.
If ever daw,
mamimiss ko si Senator Miriam Defensor Santiago. Ang galing niya nung impeachment. Ang sarap niya pakinggan. Doon siya nagalit, nag-away sila ni
Senator Enrile.
Nag-away sila noon. Ay nako. Anyway, meanwhile, the Presidential Anti-Organized Crime Commission has flagged the kidnapping of a student from an exclusive school in Taguig as a major concern. While the student has been rescued, a video of the alleged finger mutilation continues to circulate online. PAOK noted that such torture methods are not new and suggested that the kidnapping may be linked to Philippine offshore gaming operators.
We've seen a lot of these cases, yung tinanggalan ng daliri. And then minsan padadala yung daliri sa kamag-anak kung nandito sa Pilipinas. Kung hindi naman, they just send the videos of yung pagputol nila ng mga daliri.
Chinese-Filipino civic leader and anti-crime advocate Teresita Angsi also highlighted the possibility that this and other kidnapping cases in the country could be related to POGOs. She clarified that it was the victim's family driver, not the parents, who had connection to POGOs.
The driver, who has been a POGO driver at Clark for many years, who they hired for only 1 month, who was the tipster, who tipped the kidnappers about the family.
In other news, a survey shows that at least 1 in 4 Filipino college students are willing to accept a non-democratic form of governance. A study by the Yusuf Ishak Institute reveals that 25.3% of Filipino undergraduate studies agree that under certain circumstances, a non-democratic government is acceptable. This ranks Filipino youth just behind Singapore and ahead of Thailand, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Vietnam. These findings come from a study conducted between August and October 2024 among over 3,000 students.
What does former military officer Gringo Honasan have to say about the presence of Typhoon missile launchers in the Philippines?
And still coming up, before his hospitalization, Pope Francis faced resistance from some Vatican officials over efforts to address the Holy See's growing financial gap. We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. Good morning. You're still watching News and Views here on One News. Malacanang stands by President Marcos's conditions for the removal of the U.S. Typhoon missile launchers. This comes after China reiterated its demand to pull out the mid-range missile system for peace and prosperity. Presidential Communications Undersecretary Clara Castro said Marcos's stance on the issue has not changed. Recall that the president said that he was ready to yield to Beijing's demand if it stops its aggressive behavior in the West Philippine Sea. Now, to provide insights on various issues, former military officer and now senatorial candidate Gringo Honasan joins us again live here in the studio. Good morning po.
Good morning, Senator. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Thanks so much.
Nasa amin ata si Colonel sa atin.
Yeah, it's so nice to see you po again.
Yeah, I know.
I remember the last time that you were here, parang dito mo na unang nasabi na talagang you're gearing towards running.
I think you said, was it 60-40? You said yes.
Hindi, parang
unfinished business.
Unfinished business.
Diba, I remember.
Anyway, we talked about certain issues from then, and you were still not totally decided by that time, no? But what has changed since then in terms of issues sa Philippines? Nakikita nyo na pwede nyong pagtuunan ng pansin kung mahalal po kayo?
You know, Diego, no, Angela, the more things change,
Yeah.
the more they remain the same.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Historically,
Yeah.
in terms of policy, we've been doing the same thing. This is not a critique, no?
Yeah.
We're doing the same thing over and over again, politically, economically, in terms of security, and expecting different results. I think we should change the paradigm shift, and our approach to be more forward-looking.
Exactly. But,
So, yeah,
go ahead
yeah,
po. No,
no.
I want to ask you lang po dun sa report natin earlier about the Typhoon
Yeah.
missile. Your reaction to that, yung stand ni President Bongbong Marcos na, sige, tatanggalin namin to kung magiging less aggressive kayo sa West Philippine Sea.
To me, Angela, no, Diego, these are variables we have no control over. We cannot possibly second-guess what the superpowers are thinking, saying, and doing. So what do? We prepare. Diba? When you deal with one country is 5,000 years old, the other country is 250 years old, we're only 120 years old.
Yes.
Diba? How can we deal with variables that are changing daily? So mag-ready tayo, maganda tayo. Diba? And I think we have the capacity to prepare.
And by preparing, ano pong klaseng preparation?
Okay, good you asked that question, Angela. They asked me, former senator, former rebel, former colonel, former secretary. Does the Philippines have an army to confront any external aggressor? Sabi ko, no. Because the Philippines is an army. Haven't these guys learned from the Japanese, the Spaniards, the Americans, no? Over a 300-year history, no? Where are they now? Where are we? So mag-ready tayo. But one critical ingredient, we unite. We unite, then we organize, and we mobilize. If we can mobilize for a typhoon, an earthquake, we can mobilize and unite and organize for anything.
So you're more on gearing towards po talaga independent foreign policy?
Yes, which is in the Constitution.
Yes.
Diba? No permanent friends, no permanent allies. But what we would like to see as citizens, no, is what's the plan?
Yeah.
Now, let's go to the plan. The plan that drives our national security policy is an almost 80-year-old law, Commonwealth Act No. 1, written by Major Dwight Eisenhower,
Yes,
who
that's
became
right.
president, and Major William Ord. It talks about war plan orange. Terrorism lang yun asymmetric warfare. Di ba? Ano gagawin natin? See? They ask, you think they will invade us? Say ko, no. Because they're already here You look at the back of your mug. Made in...
Maybe.
Di ba?
Paano po yun? This administration, medyo siya, more on US. Alay tayo.
Yun, isa pa yun, no? That's an important point. Bakit tayo kinakahon sa pro-US, anti-US, pro-China? I seldom hear pro-Filipino. Di ba? These are variables we can control through serious planning. Di ba? Parang, to me, it's a little simple.
Pero,
yeah.
Senator, in terms of yung to at least sabi nila to maintain a credible defense sa West Philippine Sea, may two schools of thought. Isa, bumili tayo ng mas malalaki at mas maraming barko. Sabi ng iba, mahal yun. Why not set up a missile system from, I think they were talking about Iran or was it Pakistan, and also from the US, yung Typhoon. Ano yung school of thought mo
Diego,
dyan?
no, Angela, no? We're now treading on thin ice.
Yeah.
No, and I don't want your show to be party to it. No?
Yeah.
Hearings, diba? Discussions over media. We're exposing our strengths and weaknesses as a developing country to temporary friends and allies. Diba? Yung plano, keep it close to our chest.
Yeah.
Diba? But we mobilize. Diba? We unite. No? We're an archipelago.
Yes.
That's both a blessing and a curse. Diba? Any threat, whether it's COVID or something else, has to cross bodies of water.
Yeah.
No? But we're also, maybe God said, para naman hindi magselos yung ibang bansa, I'll put you in the ring of fire. You'll be number 1 in the World Risk Index with India and Indonesia. Pag may typhoon from the Pacific, kayo ang welcoming committee. Yeah. Para even it out.
Ganun.
Pero let's talk about another issue, Senator,
Yeah.
which is very pressing, no, yung food security.
Yes.
As you know, this is very close sa atin mga Pilipino kasi usually most of us just work just to survive para hindi gutom eh. So how can we address this? Kasi ang middleman daw ang issue. Can we use military trucks to take out the middleman?
Hindi naman, di ba? Ito, food security. One fundamental issue, is it a supply problem or a distribution problem? Kung supply problem, bakit nabubulok yung palay sa bodega na hawak ng middleman? Okay? It can be both. But how do we solve this? Now, unfinished business. Land use. Diba? You determine, it's land and water use.
Yeah.
What areas, land areas, do we want for agricultural, industrial, commercial, educational, government center, recreational centers? Para alam natin kung saan padadaanin yung kalsada, yung railroad, saan ilalagay yung port. That's serious development planning. Second dimension. We keep on talking about a whole-of-nation approach, inclusive growth. So logically, we have to go for the smallest, the farthest, and the poorest.
Yeah.
Kaya lang, ang tanong palagi, and sometimes nahihiya siguro yung local government na itanong, ilan ba boto dyan? Second, saan ba tayo kikita dyan? So we come down the middle and say, connect them, no? Towers, cables, satellite, no? Now, this is the short-term cost of a long-term benefit. Pag kinonect mo, di ba? Dadami tao, may productivity, dadami ang boto. At kikita ka pag may economic
So everyone's
activity.
happy.
Everybody happy. Pero kailangan may plano tayo. So land use, di ba? Ang kakambal nun, yung National Disaster Risk Reduction Management Law. Huwag na muna yung disaster. Umulan lang konti. Flooded na yung underpass.
Yeah,
Di ba? Traffic. 2 to 3 hours from Cubao to Makati.
That's right.
Di ba? The loss of productive man-hours. Every 30 years, our population doubles. So it means if we look back, we should have planned, di ba? Double. 1986, 55 million lang tayo. Ngayon, mga 120 million. Di dapat doble yung mass transport, food, government services.
Yeah.
Planning ahead lang naman. Planning ahead.
Ayun nga po kasi ngayon nga pinapakita nga nila yung tulad po na nabanggit nyo kanina na yung issue ng may supply ba? Meron naman kasi kanina po
may
binibenta yung
may
mga
kamatis
kamatis,
nga
5
nabubulok
pesos per kilo.
Ito pa ha, let me interrupt. Sorry, di ba? We taught our neighboring countries how to plant quality rice from Iri, Los Baños.
Right.
If we cannot feed our own people without smuggling or importing, and we call ourselves independent, sovereign, they have us by some part of our anatomy. Is that fair?
So tama po ba na nagdeklara po ngayon yung Department of Agriculture ng food security emergency?
Dapat. Diba? It's something that should, di ba? Basic needs. Di ba? Number 1, food. You try asking the military and the police, di ba? To the Coast Guard, to perform its mission hungry. I think, di ba? Sila pa lang yun. What about their families? No? So food. So the real problems that transcend partisan politics are food, clothing, shelter, health, education, and now the new goal, di ba? Information. Data. Data, hindi ito yung Marites. Ha?
Yes.
Yes.
Complete, accurate, and timely information that will allow individuals,
Hindi fake news.
families, government, public and private sector to make rational, intelligent, informed, long-term decisions that will determine who lives, who dies, who goes hungry. Yeah.
Yun po nga po sa information na nababanggit nyo, may mga kumakalat din po kasi sa online na you're very proud po na you're still using digital or analog cellphone.
There are cyber security aspects. Diba? Pag smartphone ka na, madaling i-track. You smash your smartphone with a sledgehammer. Any component that still can emit a signal allows any interested party
that's
to
the
track
reason
you.
So parang pag backup po, mas maganda may analog kaming backup.
Kung talk and text ka lang, ba't mo kailangan ng big data? Di ba? Talk and text, di ba? Pabilisan lang. Yeah. What are we managing? Proactively, time and information. The faster you get information, the faster you're able to intervene in a more precise manner. So, national priorities na naman will kick in.
Yeah.
Di ba? Ito lang ang pera natin, contracted fiscal space because of COVID and other factors including the global situation. Ito, ano uunahin mo? Saan mo ilalagay itong pera mo? National priorities. But, again, at MEAD, even the budget has been weaponized.
Yeah.
Di ba? Yung justice system. Saan ka tatakbo? That's the last bastion. Mahirap ka. Wala kang, panlagay. Di ba? Wala kang pambayad sa abogado na di kampanilya. Di kulong ka. Not because you are guilty beyond reasonable doubt, but because you did not have a lawyer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, kabit-kabit nito.
Kabit-kabit talaga. Well, speaking of kabit-kabit, kasi sabi nila, isa pa sa mga nagiging problema talaga natin, yung pagtaas po ng krudo. And it boils down to everything, di ba? Pag mataas ang krudo, mataas ang presyo ng
Mataas
bigas
lahat.
mo, mataas lahat, di ba? Ma-traffic, etc.
Okay.
Labor causes. What do you think po? Ano po bang dapat
Angela,
gawin?
Why are you asking me these questions? I'm just kidding. Di ba? Okay, panahon ni President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo. This is not a campaign pitch, ha? May joint marine seismic undertaking. China, Vietnam, tayo. Ano sabi doon, di ba? Okay, you do not have the technology, pahiramin namin kayo. Wala kayong pera, pahiramin din namin kayo. May langis kayo, hindi doon sa completed area. Pagkasabi sa akin, Service Contract 63, sa dulo ng Palawan. Di ba? No problem. Di ba? Why did we not pursue that? Because, di ba, this is again one cause of instability. The unpredictability of policy. Continuity. New president, new medium term something.
Iba na naman,
New mayor, new governor.
Yeah.
So that's what demotivates foreign investors and even local businessmen. Predictability. Diba? Pag may kahit na sino presidente, tuloy yung magandang plano.
Pero balikan po natin yung, lagyan po natin ng context. Sabi niyo po kasi kanina, unfinished business. Ano-ano po ba yung mga batas na nagawa niyo before when you were a senator? Na pwede niyo pong ipagmalaki?
Pagmalaki? Land use, clean air, clean water, solid waste management. Yung clean air, akala nila environmental issue. It's a public health issue. COVID was airborne. Diba? National security policy, peace policy, mini martial plan for Mindanao, freedom of information, right to reply. Medyo mahaba-haba.
Mahaba-haba din.
But if you ask me to one word, what my advocacy is, security.
Security pa rin.
Root word is seguridad. Seguridad, nakakain ka ng 3 beses ang araw. Seguridad na, sigurado na may pabahay ka. Sigurado na may pagkain ka, may pang-tuition ka, may pampagamot. Diba? At saka siguradong yung impormasyon na makukuha mo through media, social media, is accurate naman. Para makapag-deceive ang tama. And, let me add, the way forward is my 2.5 years in the ICT, digitalization. Allows us to intervene faster in a more precise manner.
Actually, you're known for all these things also, no? But what's very important then, Senator, at based sa mga questions natin sa public, is also where you stand on several issues. Ngayon, ang pinaka-pressing issue, Senator, is impeachment.
Okay.
And we've heard Senator Trillanes say the reason why maybe si Senator Escudero, Senate President Escudero is delaying it is because medyo manipis po ang support niya sa Senado. So he has to balance everything out with the other senators. Ano po yung take nyo?
Diego, Angela, politics. Now, impeachment is a legal and political process. Now, that's above my salary grade. How can I second guess the majority of 300 congressmen or the majority of 23 senators, di ba? So, unfair. We are prejudging the case. But, bottom line, does it serve the highest public interest? Will it divide our country or unite it? That's the question in my mind. Political lang yun.
Yeah.
So do you think this is not an important issue or
Let me go by what the President said. The President of the Philippines, may extra light yan from God, di ba? He said, that's a waste of time and resources. In the middle of elections, can we afford a distraction like that? But that's just his opinion and mine. And I agree with him.
Okay.
Maybe the Congress has decided that, no, the President cannot dictate on us. I don't know. Yeah, but the President said already.
Pero pagdating dun sa yung legality at saka yung mga proseso na pinagtatalunan ngayon pagdating yung mga forthwith na yan, yung continuation. Bilang isang senador, ano po ba ibig sabihin ng forthwith?
Well, Angela, I'm sorry, no? Hindi ko alam kung paano i-spell yung forthwith. I'm just a former soldier, di ba? Former rebel, former senator, former secretary. I'm not a lawyer. Yung forthwith, yun, yung kagad. Yun, dali-dalian ninyo.
Without delay.
Without delay. Without delay. Are we sacrificing, di ba, due process and the rule of law for expediency, political expediency? Parang hindi naman tama yun. Nanonood yung taong bayan eh. Di ba? They're our audience. We better explain to them.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the people will again develop some level of national impatience. Kung may siraulo na naman na sundalo, na charismatic, di ba? may gravitas, di ba? Na might resonate. That will be the danger. Because the country will be divided, will be polarized. What will happen to us naman? Blessed country, sayang.
Of course, go ahead.
No, I'd like to ask lang ma'am, siguro po yung kamusta po yung campaign po ninyo.
Siyempre, dinadaan ko lang sa sipag.
Oo nga po eh. Kasi sorry to be the one to tell you this na wala po kayo doon sa top 12 sa survey. How does it feel na dati po kayong senador tapos gano'n na nangyayari ngayon?
Well, after several uprisings, my participation in several uprisings, no, this is okay lang. Para for the course ito. I'm not worried. By the way, I was telling our campaign organization, all volunteers, no, that my campaign is a case study in national impatience. Di ba? Di ba, ang singilan dito, that includes me, is not during elections, between elections. Di ba?
Yeah.
I'm not driven by the political calendar and my record. But let me say this, no? Whatever the survey say, no? If I believe in something, I'll die for it. Okay? Now, you match my record against the other candidates. Then let's see. Which record? Kakayahan at karanasan. The capacity to take seriously public service. Yeah? I'll match my record against anybody, any politician, any candidate, past, present, and future.
And when we were speaking to si former Senator Trillanes, he said, kasi we were talking about yung mission in life or politics, sabi niya medyo kakalma na daw siya pag yung tatlong Duterte daw ay makulong na legally, di ba? And then medyo heal quiet. Kayo po, in terms of politics, when do you think for you it will be time na alam mong pwede na akong tumigil na dito? What do you want to see happen?
I'm wondering why you're asking these questions that continue to resonate. They ask me, former senator, former colonel, former rebel, former secretary, what do you want to do? I tell them, I want to go home. I have 5 grandchildren. But my home is my country, and my family are my people. How can I go home if some are left behind? No one is saved. Hindi ako nang iiwan. Minsan ako iniiwan, hindi ng pamilya ko, no?
Yeah.
Naiinip, iba napapagod, no? I can understand that. But I cannot in conscience, aside from unfinished business, sleep well when some are left behind. Yun ang inclusive sa politics, no?
Yeah.
Hindi naman ako nag-iwan.
Another issue, Senator, is political dynasty. Ano ang stand nyo dito?
As a matter of principle, no? I'm against dynasties. Yeah? In effect, bakit sila-sila na lang. But let's consider it to be data-driven and science-based. The first question we should ask and answer is why? Bakit namayagpag yung dynasty? Paano walang tumayo? Walang nagsalita? Okay, and to top it all, the dynasty is in some areas delivered. Kahit na kakapiranggot, nag-deliver. Walang alternative. Okay, that's what you should consider. Now, superimpose it over a non-existent political party system. Okay. One time I was invited to Congress as a resource person, for a charter change. So I focused on what I could, manage, economic provisions. When I went to Congress, I said this institution might be damaged because of the, criticisms. No? Until the young congressmen and congresswomen started asking questions. Pinagpawisan ako, Angela. Ang gagaling. So during the coffee break, I asked them, ba't hindi ka nagsasalita? And I don't hesitate to say this on the air, no? Alam mo, sagot sa akin, Sir, pag nagsalita kami, papatayan kami ng gripo. How can you... Diba? How can you deliver naman to your constituents? There are a lot of these people. The challenge to me is for these people to get together. There's a movement now, no? Mayors for Good Governance. I won't mention the names, no, because it might political advertisement. If these people get together, young mayors, governors, legislators, no, something might happen fast, and I'm banking on that, no, that something will move faster. The electorate will be educated, and we can look forward to serious development.
Pero would you push for anti-political dynasty laws sa Senado?
In fact, it was certified as urgent during the time of President Ramos. Hindi lumusot.
Hindi nga eh.
You know why? Because how can you legislate naman against your interest? And that has
ang kalaban mo dun, yung mismo political dynasty.
Yes, but mo ipapasa yung batas that will abolish you.
Yes.
Diba? It goes against, and it cuts across the demographics, Angela, no? Diego, diba? Urban planning. Diba? The one solution is engineering, relocate. Diba? Disperse. Diba? Sino naman ang elected official na maglilipat ng pinanggagalingan ng boto niya? It's like, So, these are the things that we have to iron out. Digitalization. Panahon namin, computerization. Faster, less human intervention, no? But we keep on saying it, we're not doing it. Di ba? That should help us, plan this out well.
I wanted to ask you also, Senator, another issue that the public has been asking is parang natenga na ito yung FOI. Bakit hindi daw makalusot-lusot daw ang FOI through all the administrations?
Let me throw the ball back in your lap. Self-regulation, professional ethics, media, especially with multimedia, di ba? It's like cybersecurity. You cannot regulate something that happens in the air. So, electoral protest, motion for reconsideration, wala doon ang sagot, Angela, no? It's nasa atin yun. Threshold issues. So, kailangan medyo, we must manifest some degree of national impatience. Hirap naman ito, di ba? 86. A few days ago, we celebrated.
Yes, that's right.
Diba?
39th,
What did we do first? Revolutionary government. Diba? Freedom Constitution. What did we do first? We conducted elections. The same elections. Diba? Automated or manual. Then we expected a different result. Now, are we expecting that after May, we wake up and everything will be okay? No. It has to be a collective effort to repair damaged systems and institutions. But 120 years old lang tayo.
Siguro yun na lang po yung to be very specific lang po. Let's say for example, nanalo po kayo. Ano po yung unang-unang bill that you're going to file po? Na talagang
siguro digitize.
Digitize.
Para lahat ng...
Paano ba yun? Ano pong... can you tell us more about it?
Well, we must digitize all the bureaucracies. Di ba? But it starts from a simple management of baseline data. Example. The World Health Organization is telling us that 100 Filipino, ito strategic problem din to, no? The WHO is telling us that 100 Filipino children die every day from malnutrition or malnutrition-related causes. Okay?
Yes.
Between the ages of 0 to 6.
Yes.
when you ask the concerned agencies, they give you numbers. My question, which I throw back at them, is, nasaan itong mga batang ito? Bakit sila namamatay? Yung demographics.
Yes.
Para ang intervention is, that's the methodology. Yung content, nakapila na yung mga batas na kala ko.
Para all decisions are data-driven and specific.
Yes.
And technology is moving not by the hour, not by the day, it's by the second. As we're talking, whether we like it or not, the world will change.
Pero last na po, Sen, kasi ang isang mga nagiging problema nila dyan sa digitization na dito sa gobyerno, ang problema nila, hindi inclusive because other areas, sabi nila, wala ngang kuryente, let alone internet. Hindi nga sila marunong gumamit ng cellphone.
Kuryente, kompene, downstream pa yan. You name me, Angela, Diego, an iskinita, huwag na yung barangay, na hindi magkakakilala. Okay? Alam mo kung sino yung lasenggo, di ba? Sino yung hindi nag-aaral yung mga bata, sino yung nambubugbog na misis. Nandun yung database. It's the repository for that data that will allow us, that will drive policy. Kung yun hindi natin alam, how can we plan even for digitalization? That's, di ba? That's quite. Yeah, quite.
Okay, siguro.
Yeah,
meron
we've got a lot as usual as always. A pleasure.
Last point really is we're doing this not for ourselves, especially for our generation.
Yes.
For our most precious, strategic, and renewable resource, our children. Diba? So ang sinasabi ko, okay lang magdebate, passionate, wag lang magsuntukan, magbarilan. No? So one flag. Of course, we're Bicolanos, Ilocanos, no? One flag, one nation, one people, no? Together. Dreaming hard, praying hard, and working hard.
Ayun.
Well,
On that note,
on
diba?
that note.
Actually, may nakalimutan pala ako. Since you
yes,
said, you mentioned children, diba? Ngayon po
Yes.
pinag-uusapan kasi yung sexual education. Tama po bang isa batas yun? Yung pinag-uusapan nila doon, what's your stance on that?
You cannot give what you don't have. I'm talking about public information. Let me go down to basic. You cannot give, Angelo, Diego, what you cannot give, you cannot share what you not have. If my own family and my closest friends will not vote for me, how can I stand? How can I be in your show and ask people to consider me, no? So, yun, sex education. So, I'm glad you asked that question. Trigger something, no? Our children are our future. Inclusive pati yung sex education, di ba? So, no, I disagree. Our children are their own future. Pag nasa future na sila, baka wala na ako. What can I do now? Our generation, show them. By example, how to be brave. How to love your country. I'm not claiming perfection, I'm just saying how to be brave. How to be dependable para maasahan ka ng bansa mo. That includes sex education. I mean, just like divorce. Di ba? I mean, these are things that, touch raw nerves in certain sectors. No? Sex education, well, you show them.
Should it begin sa house or dapat sa curriculum?
With media, di ba? Multimedia, social media, dapat may connect, no? What happens in the house must be the same as what happens in the classrooms, what happens in the streets. Drugs. Related dito, in a way, Angela, no? I've participated and listened to debates on drug abuse management, no? Alam mo, ang sagot palagi, the consensus is good parenthood. Dapat alam ng mga magulang, ng mga ate at kuya, nasan yung mga bata, yung mga anak, yung mga younger siblings, no? Sino kasama? Anong oras umalis? Anong oras uuwi? Di ba? Ano ginagawa? Simple accounting, database.
Okay.
Based
At the end of the day,
data.
it's all on the data.
It's
Correct.
information for planning at personal, family, and the highest level. No? So, harmony in the families, cooperation in the communities, order in the nation, di ba? Inclusive growth for the country and security in our shores.
Yun.
Thank you. Thank you for that. That's a good discussion and thank you very much for your time, former military officer and now senatorial candidate Gringo Honasan. Thank you, sir.
Thank you po.
Thank you so much. Nako. You take
All
care.
right, don't go away. We're not done yet. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're still watching News and Views here on One News.
New Transportation Chief Vince Dizon wants new license plates released after 72 hours. Here's the report.
Millions of motorcycle owners have yet to receive their license plates. According to the Commission on Audit, over 9 million plates are yet to be distributed since 2023. That's on top of over 2 million undistributed plates already paid for in 2015. With this, newly installed Transportation Chief Vince Dizon ordered the Land Transportation Office to issue the license plates within 3 days.
Sa planta pa lang, ikabit na yung plaka ng motorsiklo. Again, that is what we're moving on now, no, para matugunan namin yung 3-day challenge ni Secretary Vince.
For now, it takes 5 days in average for a vehicle to have its plate from the LTO. Motorcycle dealers said they will be able to fast-track the release if the LTO improves its IT platforms.
Sa end namin, as long as may submit namin complete papers, the ball is in their hand. And I believe some of the areas ay hindi nila control. Like for example, internet provider. Pag offline, wala magagawa na lahat ng tao. So kasalanan ba ng LTO? Kasalanan ba ng dealer yun? Kasalanan ba ng buyer yun? It's not our fault.
The LTO is set to meet with dealers next week to further improve the distribution of the license plates. For News 5, Gerard de la Peña, We Are One News.
Meanwhile, before Pope Francis was hospitalized for double pneumonia, he faced resistance from some Vatican officials over budget cuts and fundraising efforts to address the Holy See's financial deficit. 3 days before his hospitalization, the Pope ordered the creation of a commission on donations for the Holy See to boost contributions. Despite implementing cost-saving measures, the Vatican continued to struggle financially. The 2024 financial reports showed an 83 million euro deficit, up from 33 million euros in 2022. Pension liabilities, estimated at 631 million euros in 2022, are also a growing concern. The Vatican relies on donations, its investment portfolio, and income from the Vatican museums to fund operations. Meanwhile, the Pope remains hospitalized, but there has been slight improvement in his condition.
Majority of Filipinos are complaining about high prices of commodities due to additional costs imposed by businesses. Ano naman kaya ang masasabi ng mga negosyante dito? Para bigyan ng mukha ang balita, Mobile Journal, Evan Tarinque.
Mabigat sa bulsa ang patuloy na pagtaas ng mga presyo ng bilihin. Hindi na lang ang mga mamimili ang umaaray sa mga gastusin, pati na rin ang mga nagle-negosyo. Mula sa pang-araw-araw na pangangailangan hanggang sa mga pansahog sa ulam tulad ng asin, ramdam ng mamimili ang pagtaas ng presyo. Sa mga maliit na negosyo, lumalaki rin ang gastos produksyon mula sa sangkap hanggang sa operasyon.
Tumaas ang asukal, mantika, gas. Ang laki na naman itinaas ng asukal. Yung produkto namin, hindi naman namin maitaas.
Ayon sa 2024 survey ng international research firm na IPSOS, 77% ng mga Pilipino ang naniniwalang masyadong mataas ang patong ng mga negosyo sa kanilang binibenta. Pero sagot ng ilang business owners, nasa lugar naman ang presyo nila.
Hindi naman po pwedeng mataas ang kuha mo, mababa ang bentahan mo. Talo kami bilang mga nagre-repack lang ng paninda.
Sa isang bigasan sa Marikina, nasa 5 pesos ang patong sa bawat kilo ng bigas at 50 hanggang 100 naman sa bawat kaban. Pero kapag sobrang taas ng presyo mula sa kanilang supplier, nasa 2 pesos na lang kanilang tubo.
Ganyan, 50, 45 puhunan, ganun. May 5 pesos. May patong ka ng 5 pesos. Kasi hindi ka naman pwedeng hindi magpatong ng 5 pesos kasi may plastic pa.
Anila, hindi kasing laki ng inaakala ng iba ang kanilang tubo. Kada benta, barya lang ang kanilang kinikita. Ngunit sa liit ng tubong ito, nakakalikha pa rin ang kabuhayan para sa ilang Pilipino. Hindi lang mga mamimili apektado sa pagtaas ng presyo, pati na rin ang mga maliit na negosyo na pilit na nagpapatuloy sa kabila ng manipis na kita. Mobile Journal, Ivan Tarinque po, hatid ang mukha ng balita.
The galleries, tower high-risers, and creamline cool smashers have punched their tickets to the PVL All-Filipino Conference quarterfinals. The 10th-seeded high-risers clinched their first-ever playoff berth by stunning the 3rd-seeded Signal HD Spikers. Meanwhile, top-seeded creamline swept the number 12 NLEX Chameleons. Bea de Leon led the Cool Smashers with 12 points, the only player to reach double digits in the victory. Despite the losses, both the HD Spikers and Chameleons remain in contention for a quarterfinal spot through the play-in tournament.
So yun, pasensya na. Since we're action-packed today, hindi ako naggawa ng quote. Babawi na lang ako sa Monday ulit.
Okay.
Oh. But thank you just the same sa Buddha's Belly kay Marjorie Tan for this wonderful food. Yung
Dim sum plate.
favorite, dim sum platter and hakaw and other food na kakainin namin after this show. It was actually, it was a busy week for all of us. And next week again, magkikita-kita tayo. Ikaw, may sabihin ka ba?
Wala. Be kind every day. Choose kindness.
Yan ang quote. Ayos, galing. And that wraps up today's episode of News and Views.
Join us again tomorrow. I'm Angela. Oy, not tomorrow. On Monday.
Gusto mo
I'm
pumasok
Angela
bukas, okay lang.
Castro.
Okay lang. I'm Angelo Castro III. We are One News.
All sides, all the time.